I'm only one drink away from the devil. I'm only one call away from home.
Welcome back to the Cuddy and Galvey Show. We're on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Apple. Our reels are blowing up. We have 3 new reels going on every day. And today, we have an absolutely spectacular special guest, a friend of Galvey's, guy Galvey knows for years, Andy Green, CEO of XGen Products. Andy is a manufacturer of lingerie and sex toys. And he came on today as a special favor for Galvey. He's very busy. He's going to give us a few minutes of his time and go over some of the popular items. Evidently, the Valentine's Day, which is coming up, is the Super Bowl for XGen products and sex toy products. So here we go. How you doing, Andy?
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, Ant. We go. Me and Andy go way back. We, matter of fact, he was working with me for a little bit back in the day.
Knowing you almost 30 years.
Yeah, we had some good stories.
You don't look that old, Andy. You don't look 30 years old. So give us a little background on your history, what you do, and how you got to where you are.
I've been in the adult entertainment business for almost 30 years, except for the 2 years I worked with Jeffrey and his brother. Started on the video side of things and progressed. After working with Jeffrey, came back in the industry and started a toy and lingerie business. The problem was with the videos, the internet just killed that business fairly quickly, and we were looking for items that you couldn't download and get online for free. So we needed some more tangible products to sell to the stores. We came up with a model for toys, lingerie, and other accessories.
So that's kind of crazy how the business.
Yeah, like Blockbuster and West Coast
like
Video,
you get to really see
gone.
how like all of a sudden it was great. The internet all of a sudden came in, but that you didn't realize how it took the movies.
When I first started, Blockbuster really never had adult, but your local video rental store in the strip center, where the supermarket was, had a little room in the back. There was a sign on there. You had to be 18 to enter. And that's what we sold. We sold all those videos back in there. But as those stores shut down and it went online, the business just changed dramatically.
Right. So the whole business really changed from originally it was the movie theaters that those XXX movie theaters people went to. Then the Betamax VHS machines came, so people were able to rent them at home. And then it went to the internet, and then that took care of that business.
Well, and the stores that are still out there, they needed something to sell. If the videos and DVDs were 40 to 50% of their footprint in their store, they need to fill that space with product. And then they just transition to more toys, lingerie, shoes, stripper poles, you name it, we make it.
So, in terms of your product, do you sell mostly online or do you sell bricks and mortar stores?
So good question. We sell very little online. We've always been a supporter of the brick and mortar stores. I didn't want to be their competition. What flipped that on its head a little bit was COVID. People weren't going out as much. They still wanted access to the product. And the 2 COVID years, 20 and 21, were gangbusters. We sold, I swear, every household in America had a stripper pole and a sex swinger.
So wait, the stripper pole, does that come with an instruction manual, the stripper pole, or is there a weight limit on it? Is there a weight limit?
Not only a manual, it has a DVD inside of it.
That is so funny.
For instruction setup, and yeah, there is a weight limit on the stripper pole. It's 300 pounds.
And by the way, you were at home for like 18 months.
So what does that do? It like screws into your ceiling and your floor, and it's like boom.
Yeah.
So,
it actually works on pressure.
I'll take 6 of them.
Yeah, but Andy, as far as bricks and mortar stores, it's like interesting. It's like if you see these stores on a strip center, I would think that people would be more comfortable going online, seeing a product and ordering it than going into a store. Like if you walk into the store, people might look around and say, look who just walked into that store.
So you definitely have more online sales now than there used to be, but what Amazon still can't deliver to people is immediate satisfaction. And if you're out with your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, by yourself, whatever, and you're going to a store, walking around, having a good time. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. You want me to shove this up you? Whatever. They go
Right.
home and they can use it
That
right
day.
away.
That day.
Right away. And it's entertainment value for people. You get to pick up the package, you look at it, you see it, you can lingerie, she can go try it on. Most of the stores have dressing rooms. It is an experience, but I do understand the flip side. So we started to sell a little more online, but not a ton.
How
Most
about
of it is
how
wholesale.
about demographics as far as like if you take a look at the country, like is California different on what they buy than Florida to
Great
New
question.
York? Like a blue state and a red state. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in our industry, you can't just open a store next to a McDonald's or a school or anything. So the zoning is very, very particular in our industry where stores can open up. That being said, the larger states obviously would have more population density, and those are the busier states for our industry. So Texas, number one. There are so many stores in Houston and Dallas, I can't even believe it. Texas, California, Florida, the Carolinas are great. Upper Midwest, not really much going on. And the Northeast is actually not a very good area besides New York.
So, do you have a profile in terms of income, or it's all over the place in terms of what the average income of a purchaser of sex toys, or it doesn't matter? It's just that's not an
It doesn't
issue.
really matter, but you would see, the toys nowadays, some of them are $200-$300.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
so
With
you
what
can-
we're making, we'll never get there. I mean,
We're working on a plane
yeah,
first.
we're working on we're working on the cutting.
What's the
and
number
Galley
one?
program.
What's the number one selling toy?
right now, it's something called the Rose.
Okay.
The
So
Rose.
this has been like a TikTok sensation for about 4 to 5 years
The
now.
rose.
I've never heard of it.
It's in the shape of a head of a rose,
Got
like not
it.
the stem, but there are some that have a stem. And the petals on the outside vibrate, and the inside of the center of the flower has some air movement technology to it. And this has been a new segment in our industry the last maybe 7-8 years, that the air movement over, I don't know how graphic you want to get or into anatomy on your show, but the air movement over that area is very effective. And it looks like a rose. It looks really like the head of a rose.
Now,
it's
what does
something to
that?
learn.
Yeah, what does that item sell for?
$59.95.
Okay, if you go on rabbitcompany.com,
TheRabbitCompany.com.
therabbitcompany.com for this show, you get, if you put the promo code rabbit20 in, you're going to get 20% off on the rose.
Yeah, and the rose, I'm sorry, the rose is actually on one other site. That's called therosegasm.com.
Rosegasm.com.
Now, do they come in different colors?
Originally
These
priced-
roses?
The color, it's a rose color, almost like the color of your background.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't, because I know roses, the different colors mean different things. If you send yellow roses, it means one thing, red roses. So I guess they're all red.
This one's all
Interesting.
red. We do offer one in black.
Okay.
Oh,
so-
geez, what's that mean? This is your
No,
curtains
no,
after
black
this.
is-
This is the last time I'm going out with you when you get.
Right.
but let me ask you. You were once mentioning to me that you now have product that you have for long distance, where they have now taken. If you have a partner and you are out of the country or in a different state, what toy do you have for that?
So there's a brand we have called Love Distance. That's a play on long distance. There's 10 different items in all different shapes and sizes, and basically works on Bluetooth technology. And each item has a remote control and a toy. So if your partner is in traveling, they can take the toy, you can keep the remote, or you can just use your phone as the remote. There's an app that we have.
Could you imagine
and
that?
you can-
No, but I
partner
guess
could
you
be-
get on a FaceTime with your partner, right? And,
Correct.
And you're controlling this remotely while you're looking at her or him, right? And Interesting.
And
This is
what
crazy.
What really started the whole movement in this are the sex cam websites.
Oh,
So
yeah.
guys like OnlyFans and all these sites. So if there's a girl on OnlyFans, she may have 500 of these toys, and then she's got 500 customers that can control it at certain times.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then they
So-
pay more to see.
Right.
So is this battery operated or it's a plug-in?
Rechargeable. They're all
Rechargeable.
USB
Right. It's like
rechargeable.
Bluetooth technology.
Yeah.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
I
Now,
would
now the
say
Rose, is the Rose battery operated or a plug-in?
rechargeable.
Rechargeable. Wow, that's
But it's
great.
the OnlyFans is must be just huge then. It must be just such a big
Huge.
business.
Yeah, and that brand's called Love Distance, and that does really well. And there's some for guys, some for girls, everything in that brand. Yeah.
So is back in the day, you just had the conventional dildo. I mean, just the penis. I mean,
Right.
is that still popular? The old
Yeah.
tried and true. Back in the
there's
day,
still-
they had the 12-inch
but
one, the 10-inch one, the
And-
They
4-inch
still have,
one.
yeah.
Andy, I saw
Yeah,
a show on I'm not sure if it was 60 Minutes, but a show like maybe it was a Sunday morning show. They actually are now making like not robots, but the dolls have taken it to a new level. Is that like lifelike dolls?
Yeah, so we don't do full dolls, but we do a lot of torsos, like half torso.
That
and
is
butts and
unbelievable.
boobs and all that. And yeah, no, Jeffrey, you're on it. Like
I
this
want
is-
an apprenticeship with you.
Well,
really.
Well, I went to the Consumer Electronics shows with Andy
No,
back
he
in
should
the
be
day.
on The Apprentice.
Right. So they have that. So what country buys the most toys?
North America by far. North America by far. Europe is strong.
Australia?
Australia's a good market for us. South America is not.
Are there cultures like that are against this, like Saudi
Some
Arabia?
yeah.
Those countries. There are
Definitely
cultural.
some Asian territories that are a little farther behind the curve than other parts of the world, but that is changing faster and converting over to more acceptance in certain areas. Europe is good for us. The UK is strong. Parts of Canada, again, population areas, right, in Canada. So like Ontario, Quebec. But the U.S. is by far the biggest territory.
What is the for say women, for instance? What is the average, or is there, like, if you even have this information, how many toys does the average person own, like a woman own? Do they one, two, three?
I wouldn't know that number. I know there's a good portion of the population that don't have any, but then I also know
Is that
there's
really
a certain
true?
there's a certain population that have a lot. So it's probably somewhere in the middle. I would say the lower single digits would be more accurate than that.
I would be curious how many people their spouses are aware. Let's say I'm dating this girl and she has several toys. Am I aware of it if we're not using them together, if she's using them for self-indulgence? I mean, what percentage do you think is that a statistic?
I would say most women have one or two.
Have one or two, and their spouse or respective other knows about it.
Yeah, or they don't even ask it, but it's probably if your spouse is out of town or something, that's.
Well, I was dating this girl for a period of time, and, we broke up. She left my house, and she accidentally left her bag of tricks in the closet. I didn't even know she had a bag of tricks. I mean, it was the first time I ever saw it. That's why I asked the question. But go ahead, Gabby.
No, I was just going to say, it's like, it's, you want to know, like, I think that some women were such it's a subject that's so quiet that if they knew that it was normal to have 2, 3, 4, more people would do it. I think some actually are hesitant. Like they want to have one, but they're scared to buy 2 or 3 because they think like, hey, is that like, are they normal to like have several, or several toys? Maybe some feel like, hey, am I like a little weird to like want to have 5 or 6 different toys? Right. And I could see some other women saying, hey, more the merrier. Let me try. What else do you have that's new? Like,
I will say, as I've gone through my career of almost 30 years so far, it has gone from ultimate taboo to much more accepted. I was on Nordstrom.com the other night and they have stuff on there. Now, that's not in their brick and mortar store, it's on their website. We've sold our product to CVS, Target, Walmart. A lot of these companies will have it in store and on their website. So and look, in Target, I don't know if you know this stat, it's crazy, but 88% of the customers in Target are women, are female.
Wow.
88%. That's a fact from Target. So they know they have eyeballs walking through these aisles. So that's why they're involved in this category now.
What's the average age of someone that buys of women that buy a sex toy?
That's a great question. I don't know the exact age because gathering the data in our industry is so difficult. The brick and mortar stores, they really look at traffic count, how many people are coming into the stores. If you had to break it down by age, I would say the sweet spot is probably 30 to 55, somewhere in those 20 some years.
Well, if you have like a traffic count, if you, like, I know the stores might have like how many people came in the store that day,
Right.
but they should also have a conversion rate. Like if you get a person that comes into a store, I would say that the average person that walks into that store should walk out with a toy. Otherwise, I would think that the conversion rate has to be over 50%.
The conversion's higher. It's the ultimate destination facility.
That is unbelievable.
Like no one is going out of their, everyone has to go out of their way to go to that store because it's not in a shopping mall or usually a strip center.
So they want to buy. They're there to buy.
They want to buy. They're a customer.
They're next to the dry cleaner that also sells pot.
Now, do people share? Do people share like those? You find like another woman might tell their girlfriend, "Hey, I bought this sex toy. It's the
100%.
best." So girls sit and yak and talk, and they like will tell their friend, "You got to buy this thing. It was unbelievable."
Word of mouth is huge in our business. Word of mouth and reviews.
See, Cuddy, better than my husband. I get a toy.
Word of mouth, is that a
No, but
play on
it's
words?
but they could say, I could tell you what, one could say, "Hey, forget your husband. I got a toy for you that'll make you happy."
Right.
He's an
That's right.
asshole.
Yeah.
Here's a toy. You
Yeah,
know, you
just-
don't have to deal with him.
Hey,
Let me
look,
ask you
it's,
this.
it's easier for the guy, right? It's
Yeah,
less
I know.
work. And, you know,
Sure.
It gets to that stage.
But I'm a numbers guy. I'm an economic guy. Is this a recession-proof business, or does it Jerry Epstein hurt? You know, when there's so much Jeffrey Epstein on all the drama that goes on. I mean, are there events in time that stop things in your industry, or it's consistent?
Yeah, so it's fairly consistent. We generally weather the recessions okay. Of course, right, you know, let's look at 2008, 2009, the industry dipped, came back after that from the 50 Shades of Grey and all those movies and everything that did for our industry. You know, and then COVID, of course, was off the charts. And we've retained a lot of those customers from the COVID years. Some people that were buying things during
They're comfortable.
2021, yeah, they've been indoctrinated into the world of, you know, sexual wellness.
Right.
And maybe they experimented a little more, had free time on their hands. They weren't traveling as much. Now business has fallen off since then, but we're still at decent numbers. Now what you see in the world, besides the economy, as you guys will talk about later, and you probably talk about every week, there's so many socioeconomic and socio-political things going on out there. There's a lot of distraction. And you can look at that either way in our industry. Some people want to go towards our industry to try to get an escape, and some people just may not feel a little sexy right now, but they do want something to liven that up. And that's when they come to us and say, "Hey, what can you help us with?"
Do you ever like get a request for like a Donald Trump sex toy?
No, we no, never had anything like that.
I wonder if
but-
you could market yourself through like couples counselors and.
Oh,
You know,
funny you mentioned, we have a resident sexologist on staff.
Wow.
She actually is a
this is a
thriving
one-stop
practice.
shop.
Right.
Yeah, her name is Dr. Mindy.
Hold on, let me write that down, Doctor.
No,
She
well, why can't
she
you get
has a-
together with an alcohol company, like say, for argument's sake, Mike's Hard Lemonade, and say, this product with a couple of Mike's Hard Lemonades, and it goes together.
You could.
So let's
Absolutely.
hear about your sexologist, Dr. Mindy. You were about to say.
So Mindy is a thriving practice in Miami, working with couples, singles, all different, partner situations. She's in her mid-30s. She graduated from and then she got her clinical degree in sexology, and she is on staff with us. She actually found us. That website I gave you, the rabbitcompany.com, she bought one of our toys on her own and thought it was great and contacted us and wanted to be involved with the company somehow. So now she writes articles. She writes articles for us for industry publications. She appears at our trade shows. She appears at
U of
stores.
M. Look at us. That's
University of Miami.
There we go.
Yeah. If a store has a ladies' night and there's 200 women that show up, she'll come speak to the group.
Wow.
That's great.
She's great. So
I wonder if
Do you-
we
do you
could
wanna-
get,
do you
can we
have her
get
number?
on the show?
Do you
Can
want
we
her
get
to-
on the show?
Do you want to give her a
I will-
number?
You know what? Let me talk to
She'd
her.
be a
and
great
see- I'm
guest. Not
sure-
as good as
Yeah.
you, but she'd
I'm
be
sure
a
she would
second.
want to come. Sure, she would want to come on the show. We're doing an event with her in a few weeks. I think in Parkland. It's 40 or 50 women that just had babies. They want to feel more sexual. They're not sure how to get back into it with their partners. So she goes and speaks to the group, and she'll use the Rabbit Company or one of our brands as a way for them to feel a little. And we'll sponsor the night. And she's great. She's super
Now-
knowledgeable, super sweet.
Is that a category after you give birth? Is that a category that you would approach and say, look, you just gave birth, and this is products that we find desirable for people that are 6 months after? That's a whole
You know,
category.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have thought of it until she brought it up. And there's more med spas and daily spas and regular massage spas and the real massage spa parlors. They are selling and using these in their treatments, and they're selling them in their gift shops. And it's just another way it's becoming more mainstream.
So is your product? If I go into the Boca Resort Spa, is it you have to be over 18 to get into a store that sells that product? Is it like cigarettes or beer?
Yeah, so that store probably isn't going to carry it, but But look, Target's selling them, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm sure.
you don't have to. There's nothing.
But they're selling it as a massage. They're selling it as a
It's not as a
massager.
massager, exactly. And if you go into a store, the adult stores will have rules that minors are not allowed in the store.
Sort of like saying you have to say water pipe rather than bong, something like
Correct.
that.
Yeah,
That's
back
right.
in the day.
That's right. Yeah.
So-
Look, our stores our products carried worldwide. In the U.S., all the major chains have it. Hustler Hollywood, Cindy's, Lion's Den, Lover's Lane. All of our big accounts. These are not small stores. They have 100 stores. I mean, they're big now.
Right, we got to have you back on. There's going to be a lot of questions after this thing. We're going to get
No,
questions.
we're going to blow up. We
Yeah.
have over 250,000 listeners. Now we're going to have 1 million.
You'll be our guru.
We're going to go on these reels. Oh, I do have one question. The most popular color is rose, because that's
Pink.
the popular
No, pink.
Pink. Okay.
Overall pink. We run the gamut. Pink, blue, purple, black, some yellow.
How about size?
Certain parts of the world are different colors. Australia is purple. Most popular is purple. Size, I would say on a vibrator, 5 to 7 inches.
Average. So they go.
Average.
Okay.
Average.
5 to 7 inches. Oh, interesting. Now, is that when they manufacture that stuff, they go off of statistics? You said it's difficult to get statistics on all this stuff. Is that just from feedback from what's your popular selling items, or?
Yeah, and then it's just variations of what's popular. Maybe it has 10 functions instead of 5. Maybe we turn it into that Bluetooth version instead of non-Bluetooth, or we give it a remote control, or we make a different color, or there's other ways you can vary the product.
Well, Andy, you are a very impressive guy, and you can see. I mean, when you walk into these sex adult toy stores, you think, you can't imagine what the face behind it is, but it's a real sophisticated business. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And
And
we have 30 employees, 75,000 square foot warehouse. I mean, it's a real.
hey, I was out to one of sex toy manufacturer out in Van Nuys, California. You know the person. I mean, he has 1,400 workers there.
Yeah.
All doing sex toys out there.
Right.
He was a good client. So Andy,
we're trying to make the world happy in a tough time.
I agree, and everybody, I agree with you. Now Andy's from Philly, so he knows Go Birds, so he's cheering for the Eagles.
What do you think,
It's
Andy?
hard.
This is we have this game coming up on this Monday night. What do you think? Eagles are favored.
I would say it's the easiest draw they could have gotten, right? The easiest opponent they could have gotten, but it shouldn't have wound up this way. Either they were not as good as everybody thought, and all those close games early on could have gone the other way, and then all the faults came out in the last 5 to 6 weeks. But living down here in Florida now, I don't see him that much on TV, and that was a good thing to pass.
Andy, I see him all the time on TV because I have that package. But I got to tell you, what's really true about being a Philadelphia fan, only Philadelphia could have a coach take you to 3 playoff in a row, years in a row, take you to a Super Bowl. You're literally up by 10 by halftime. You lost the game with 30 seconds to go in the game, and the following year they're calling for him to be fired. I mean, Philadelphia is a tough town.
Throw snowballs at Santa Claus, and hey, look, I grew up going to the vet.
Yeah.
So
What section did you sit in? Do you remember?
He didn't sit up top. He didn't sit.
In the link, we're 120.
120. Ooh, that was
the
good.
The family still has 4 PSLs.
Whoa.
Right.
And I'm gonna say the vet. Oh my God, that was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah. Right.
But I'll tell you this: I have this in my office. I keep this frame. This was the. This is the last Super.
There we go.
There you
Minnesota,
go, baby.
Hey, it's in your life. That's right.
So what do you think? I mean, how do you even bet the game? You don't know if Jalen Hurts has a broken finger or if he can throw the ball.
I like the Eagles. I think that this
You
game,
really think so?
I like
Browns
the Eagles.
out?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. And then I think anything's possible. I think the big game is going to be that Stafford is coming back to Detroit. And I think the Rams beat the Detroit Lions. And there's a chance that the Eagles will be playing Dallas, in the second round in Dallas. In Dallas. Could you imagine the Eagles playing a third time against Dallas? That would be a winning season for the Eagles. If we could eliminate Dallas, that would be considered a winning season for Philadelphia.
It would save Sirianni's job, I think. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
I can't imagine they would fire him.
No,
even if he loses this game.
They're giving him one more year.
They got to give him one more year, don't you think?
Get rid of new
See,
defense.
the only way he gets fired is if the Eagles are winning this game by a lot, and then they collapse at the end of the game, and it's just like the last game, where
I just want to say one last thing. I go back so many years with him. I'm going to tell you, I remember I had some friends that were ball players that I can't mention right now,
Right.
but I remember them calling Andy up and during the movies, and boy, did they want the Kim Kardashian tape. Remember how big that tape was?
Hey, that put her on the map, and she has parlayed that tape into some empire.
Every athlete wanted to see the Kim Kardashian tape.
I would love to see it. Is it still around?
It's still around. You can now go online probably and watch it. But
Yeah,
that really
before that
that launched her.
Yeah,
So-
before that it was the Pam and Tommy Lee tape.
Right.
And then-
Paris
Wow.
Hilton, the Paris Hilton tape.
Oh,
Yeah.
some good stuff.
All right, guys, I'm going to go and
Let me just go over this one more time, Andy. The rabbitcompany.com, discount code rabbit20,
Yep.
CEO XGen Products. Andy, thank you so much. You were great.
Thanks, guys.
All
It was
right.
a pleasure.
Take care, Ant.
Take care.
All right, have a good one.
All right,
too.
see ya. Bye.
Wow, what a great guest.
Yeah, I'm going to take this off
Me
now,
too.
Ben.
I'm sweating. That was so much fun, Gavi. Oh my God, I have so much information here.
It's a crazy industry, isn't it?
Well, what's crazy about it is he's such a respectable guy. He speaks so well. And when you talk to a guy like that, it's like, you know, he treats every day like a real business. He goes in,
because it's not a dirty industry.
No,
people are thinking it's the guy with the trench coat and it's like sleazy. And it's like, look at the, I mean, I know this company out in, that they do the product. It's like thousands and thousands of these toys.
I wonder, is that, you know, are these, or I forgot to ask him this question, are any of these approved by the FDA?
They are.
Oh, they are?
They are. Not only that, they actually have chemists on the premises that have to taste it. So they have to be FDA, all the drug.
Wow.
Yes, they're all approved. Because you're putting things in your mouth.
Yeah, in your body, too.
Right, yeah,
in your
so-
body.
yeah,
so
yeah,
it has
yeah.
to be all approved, the plastics, to make sure
But
they don't poison you.
Now that we got the fun part out, we can talk about some of this
Oh, man,
crazy stuff in the world. Boy, this is, you know, that is takes out the tension. Now
Boy,
I'm gonna
Galvi, your shirt and your eyes. Do you see? Get a shot of his shirt and his eyes. Besides a podcast superstar, he is a sex symbol. Look at him here.
Yeah. So now that you get the tension out with these sex toys, now this is what brings on the tension.
Okay, let's talk about our Secretary of Defense. Missing in action 4 days. Now, first of all,
It was elective surgery. He considers elective surgery, prostate surgery, like that's not elective.
well, I just want to know. I want to have him in a press conference and ask him this one question. You're on leave for the weekend. I'm a private in the Army, and I'm supposed to be back in the barracks Sunday night, and I don't show up till Thursday. What happens to me?
You're court-martialed.
I'm court-martialed. So this guy,
And that means you're going to jail. That's jail in the Army.
So this guy has set a precedence for all his 2 or 3 million employees that you can be AWOL for 4 days, not accountable. The other issue is Joe Biden. I lived through the Donald Trump presidency. I saw him all the time at the golf course over there. And the moment he got out of his motorcade, the general manager and the head golf pro and the head chef was standing at the door to greet him, and that's how he wanted it. He talked to everybody every day. I can't believe Joe Biden, with all the crap in the Middle East, is not talking to this guy every single day of his life. How does he not know this guy's not around?
Well, because when he went to St. Croix, they always said, the binder always said that it's a working vacation, and he's always working. Now, if you have all these conflicts going on in the world, especially where the United States barracks are being attacked,
127
and by the way,
times.
there was 4 attacks. Why Lloyd Austin was in surgery? You know, like in the recovery and everything. We were attacked 4 times. But the question is, that's one of the guys you talk to every single day. It's every day. That's one of the people that
You talk to your chief of staff,
and then,
Secretary of Defense.
And then, if not only was it not him, the person underneath Lloyd Austin was on vacation, was the girl. Then the third person that could be around, they claim had the flu. So nobody knew where this Lloyd Austin was for like 4, 5, 6 days. That means, what else are they hiding? Like, how about Joe Biden? How about if he got sick? How about if he's slipping? You think this administration ever is going to come clean? So you got to sit there. It makes the administration. And then you really want to think, like, what does it take to get fired? You know, Donald Trump had to show The Apprentice. The premise was, at the end of every show, he fired somebody.
Oh, this guy.
What does Joe Biden, what do you
Yeah.
have to do to get fired in his administration? Mayorkas, he can let in 12 million people. He gets a pat on the back and say, way to go. I mean, you know.
Well, I was on the fence with Biden, but he lost me here. I'm done. I'm done with Joe Biden. Donald Trump would say, look,
I wasn't on the fence. I was never on the fence.
I understand you have prostate cancer. I don't really care if your dick's falling off. People are dying. You're in charge of the military here. You can't be AWOL. You just can't be AWOL. It's not acceptable.
How about if you had a child that was overseas in the Army, in Iraq right now?
I would be horrified.
That's where your child is working for that guy. You got to be sit there and say, this
And
is
how about
crazy.
recruiting? It's got to destroy. There's so many levels here. The 2 million guys that are working for him, the soldiers that are worried about their families that are worried about him. But the deeper issue is check the box. I mean, look what Joe Biden did.
And that's why he's not fired. The reason why Joe Biden is not firing him is because everything that took place with Harvard right now, with the DEI right now, he does not want it to be again that he checked the box. Because again, people were thinking maybe he chose Kamala Harris because she checked the box. He picked Jackson,
Claude Pierre, whatever her name is.
KGP as he checked the box. The Supreme Court judge checked the box.
Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete checked the box. So he's at a point where he doesn't want to fire somebody because then that hurts the DEI movement in Al Sharpton.
But I just don't know how the guy can stay. I mean, if the guy's a military man, go down with the ship, captain goes down with the ship. He fucked up. If I got in the car tonight drunk and I killed somebody, I can't go in tomorrow morning and say I'm sorry. I made a life-altering change which affected people. What he did affected people. He's got to go. He cannot stay. Well, he must resign.
Do you remember the commercials when Hillary Clinton was running her campaign against Trump, and she had a picture of a red phone, and she says, when that phone rings in the middle of the night, who do you want to answer the phone? Joe Biden has taken it to a new level. I mean, because Hillary Clinton did not answer the phone during Benghazi. She rolled over and thought Bill was there, but he wasn't. He was on the island. But in the meantime, Joe Biden.
Save that as a clip, Ben.
Meanwhile, Joe Biden, he doesn't even know that the guy is off. Like 6 days, he's on vacation sunning himself, and his top guy in the military, while we're having these conflicts, is out of action, and Joe Biden didn't know. That's an embarrassment that our president is out of touch.
Well, it's just horrifying to know that we're in these wars. Israel needs money. All the stuff that's going on in Ukraine. Iran is bombing the shit out of everything. They're about to make a nuclear bomb. And this guy, the head of the Defense Department, where there's 3 million employees, $1 trillion of our budget goes towards the Defense Department. He's not talking to Donald Trump. Would be talking, and I'm not defending Donald Trump, but he'd be talking to this guy 3-4 times a day, calling him at 1 a.m. What are you doing? What's going on?
The way he said it, Austin said it afterwards. He said, "I have to do a better job of communicating." It sounded to me like, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, it sounded to me like when Andy Reid was a coach, he would say, "I have to do a better job of putting people in place to make plays." Like he's like,
"You're done."
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's none. This is
you don't come back.
And he messed up Afghanistan. So what does this guy have to do? Like, what is the threshold? What does he have to do to, like, does he have to literally bomb a city by accident, get the coordinates wrong and hit a different city? I mean, I don't get it.
I think he has to be done. I just, as a military guy, he has to walk in there, say, I screwed up, and resign. I mean, he shouldn't even put this on Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a worm for not jumping on this, but the guy has to quit.
Right, and I agree. And then I have another subject that's just bothering me right now.
Go ahead. What's bothering you, Gavi? You're a problem solver.
When you see, because it's a subject that they haven't even addressed yet. When today in New York, all these New Yorkers are all upset because their sanctuary city, they had some bad weather that came in there the other night, and they had to move some of the illegals into a school. And they had to tell the kids in the school they would have to study at home, take school like a Zoom class, because the illegals are now in their school. And I'm looking at it like, this is crazy. You have taxpayer dollars now, and you have illegals taking up their school. And the one subject that no one's mentioning is these 12 million people that came in here, the kids, the ones that have to go to school. Are our schools prepared for this? Are they in school? Are they not registered? I mean, what happens if all of a sudden 3 million kids come into the schools? Are schools ready to accept them? Do we have teachers that speak Spanish? Do we have teachers that speak Portuguese? I mean, how do they go to school? Or do they just come into our country and not go to school and will be uneducated? I mean, what's the plan for the people that are here? So let's say you get a notice and I say, you don't have to report for 6 years. Hi, I came in here. Here's your card. Report in 6 years. What does their 3 children do for the 6 years? Where do you put them?
Well, all our schools in the big cities have been a disaster long before this immigration So now they're a bigger disaster.
So where do you put them? Do you just hide
I
them?
mean, they have to go to the school, and it's just going to be a giant disaster. Hopefully, at some point, these democratic big cities are going to get rid of this sanctuary thing because it's going to destroy them. They're not going to be able to.
They're not folding it. I mean, I would think they would have said uncle a long time ago. I think you got to break the arm already. It's like they're blaming Texas.
They're going to lose the next election. I mean, there's going to be a public outcry. I mean, there has to be. When these kids can't, when kids that are legitimately in these schools can't go to these schools and they can't learn, and the scores, because the scores are going to come out,
and they're blocking the charter schools. So the same people that keep shoving these kids into the school, if that's what they're even doing, they're also stopping cities from having charter schools. I know Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania, he wants to have charter schools, which is a great idea. He got stopped. He had to veto. He had to veto his own bill.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
No, it's look. I'm looking at this here. New Jersey was the most fled state in the country this year. More people left New Jersey than any other state. To all these other, and New Jersey always had high taxes, problems with schools.
Right.
I don't know if Jersey's not a sanctuary city, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Yeah. So anyway, then we have the people that are leaving on Boeing planes. What do you think of what happened this week?
Well, the guy broke down and shed a tear today.
Who did?
The head of Boeing, CEO of Boeing, shed a tear. I think he had to take a little lesson. But I mean, because his first comment he said was, "Don't fly over water." I mean, that was his first response was, "Don't fly over water," where he didn't realize that they were going to ground every MAX 9 plane there is. And then how about that they found that there were loose bolts on some of these things? I mean, Airbus is the only thing I could say. Buy Airbus.
Yeah, I always thought aviation was a zero tolerance. My friend who always had boats, and back in the day I had a plane, he always used to say, I can swim, I can't fucking fly.
Right.
When his boat broke, he could swim.
Right.
When a plane breaks, you go to, you die.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Let me ask you a question. Would you think twice if I gave you the emergency row right now? Would you?
I don't know how they sell it. They must give it away. They have to pay somebody.
Do you know on these carriers like Spirit and do you know they charge more for that?
Because there's more leg
There's
room.
more leg room. Now they won't be able to charge more. Now it's it comes with a parachute.
Well, if somebody was sitting in that chair, they would have gotten sucked out of the plane.
I know.
It was only 16,000 feet. When I went skydiving, it was 10,000 feet. So the pressurization is not that great.
If they were at 30,000 feet, would people have been sucked out?
Everything would have gotten sucked out of that plane. That plane, every seat would have gotten sucked out that door. That plane would have went down if it was 30,000 feet. It's lucky it only happened at 16,000 feet. But the question is,
wow,
when I tried to read stuff on is it a airline maintenance issue or is it a manufacturing issue? Did the airlines?
It was the manufacturing, because these are new planes and they farmed out to a third person that put the doors on. And they're the ones which is Boeing's responsibility. I mean, you hire door people, that's like,
Yeah, and they found loose bolts in the door. You just wonder.
Did you see the lawyers, though, that are already on this?
Oh, my God, I can't even
They already
imagine.
have every single person that's on the plane, basically. They already have
Signed them up?
Well, they have,
PTSD.
Yeah, they're all like can't get on a plane anymore. They're scared,
And does the airlines Alaska Air now give these people free airfare for life for their experience? I mean, do you get that for life? I mean, do you get to fly forever? Does Boeing pay for that? I mean, how does it work?
I don't know, but could you see them though, Skyjock? Could you see anybody like doing what you did, jumping out of a plane?
I just, if you're on a commercial plane and the door flies out, I mean, are you not horrified? You don't know what's going on, and the door's like flying out.
Well, first of all, there were 2 seats there that no one was sitting in.
Yeah,
The first thing I would think about is if I saw the door open up, I would think that those first 2 people got sucked out. Like I would think, where did they go? Were they there? Did we miss her? We need a body count.
Right.
Like, wouldn't you want to know where they at?
Yeah,
The two empty
so-
seats, because
so-
I never see empty seats on airplanes.
Well, what they tell you now, experience like that is always have your seatbelt on because you never know.
I always do.
Even when the seatbelt light goes off.
I'll tell you what, when I fly to the Far East, and you could be sitting there, you never know. Like sometimes if you're going over like the China Sea, there's some unbelievable turbulence that can come out of nowhere that you just gotta like.
You always have your seatbelt on.
Yeah, even if I'm lying down,
wow.
I will put the seatbelt on.
So now the most interesting, I think, part of the news.
I just got to interrupt for
Go
1 second.
ahead.
I just
It's
got
your
to jump
show.
around real
Gavi
quick.
and
I
Cuddy
want to
show.
give some football picks real quick so I
let's
can
do
get
it.
my thing out there.
Yeah, we're running
You
out
know,
of time.
I
Get 'em
went
in
I
there.
went 2 for 2 last week. I lost the Michigan-Washington game. That's because Washington.
Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh after you give us our picks.
My picks real quick though for this week. I went 2-2 last week. This week I like the Houston. I like Houston plus 2.5 over the Cleveland Browns. I like Dallas -8 over Green Bay. Okay, I think that Dallas is going to beat them pretty good.
I do too.
I like the Rams getting points over Detroit. I think Matt Stafford is going back to Detroit, he was the quarterback before he was the Rams. I think they're going to beat the Detroit Lions, but it's the Rams +3. And I like the Philadelphia Eagles -3 over Tampa. We're going to win this one playoff game, and then hopefully maybe we get to play Dallas.
I'm taking Tampa at Tampa. I think the Eagles collapse. I just think they're so demoralized.
You're just saying that because you're from Philly. I'm telling you, we're going to win that game. But they were my picks. Now, if you want to discuss...
well, let's talk to the frat boys. Yo, frat boys, I know you're big Eagles fans. Good luck this week.
That's the difference of now maturity. I lost the game and I was okay. The frat boys, how do they take a loss?
Well, I think they're devastated. My son, I couldn't talk to for a day. But I mean, I think there's two issues.
Don't be devastated.
No, you
Don't
lost
be
Brown. Brown's out for the season, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think he's out for the season. See if you can check that out.
A.J. Brown's out for the year?
I think A.J. Brown's out for the year. And Jalen...
No, that's Sidney Brown that's out for the year.
Oh, maybe it's...
That's his safety. I want to tell you something. Just this stadium... The NFL, for the amount of money and the players that are on there, this particular stadium, Giants Stadium, where the Giants and Jets play, there are more injuries. It's the most dangerous turf in football. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles one day. I mean, the Eagles were crazy
But
to
isn't
play
that a
people.
coaching issue? Why are they playing these two guys against the Giants?
Idiot.
Idiot. Why are they
we
playing
had nothing to gain.
Or
nothing
maybe
to
play
gain.
the first quarter, try and get a lead. I mean, take them out after halftime at least.
The Eagles lost 3 guys.
Says Brown suffered a knee injury and will miss the remaining of
Sidney
20
Brown.
Is that A.J. Brown or Sidney Brown?
I think it's
It's Sidney Brown. It's Sidney Brown. Trust me, I would know. AJ's okay. AJ's
he?
playing. AJ's
right.
playing. It's Sidney Brown. He's a rookie from safety from Illinois.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll see. The frat boys, they're devastated, but they'll come back. If Tampa Bay's they're going. I'm sure they'll go to the next game. So let's just wrap this up. I don't know if you saw the interview with Michelle Obama. Is she going to be running at the convention? Is there going to be a convention switch? Biden's out. Michelle's in.
I don't know how she goes to sleep at night. She is so worried on everything that's going on. I mean, she said that 3 times, like, I don't know how I go to sleep at night. Meanwhile, she's basically saying because she knows things that everybody else
How does she
doesn't
know? Does she have security clearance?
I guess she's allowed to know everything that's out there, but...
Why? Because her husband was... So if I'm Secretary of Defense, I have to go through a congressional hearing and get security clearance. Being the wife of a president of the United States, do you get to read all the security stuff?
Yeah, I think he might
Why?
discuss it with you. You shouldn't, but I think the reason why she's losing sleep is because she sees that Joe's going to go down. And if Joe goes down and the Republicans get the House and the Senate, they're going to look into Barack. They're going to find out that Barack was involved in maybe Ukraine and Hunter Biden and getting money from Ukraine. I mean, it's so corrupt that the head of Harvard, Pritzker, is the head of Harvard.
Chairman of Harvard,
Chairman
right.
is Pritzker. And her brother is the governor of Illinois. And part of her role is, under the Biden administration, is she is in charge of distributing billions of dollars in Ukraine. So
There's a connection.
there's a connection, and Barack Obama went up to her and said, I would like Gay Pritzker, I would like Gay to remain here. Do not fire her. So that's why she got, so Barack used his pull to keep Gay with the job, but they finally couldn't save her because they can get past genocide, but that plagiarism was they couldn't escape plagiarism. So you look at stuff like that, and I think Michelle Obama is scared of all the stuff that's going to come out. If you don't think that Barack Obama knew everything that Joe Biden was doing, there's no way Joe was lining his pockets for money and Barack didn't know about it.
Well, and also, they also know that Donald Trump, if he gets back in, he's got a blacklist that he's going after. He's got a list of people, names, and he's just going to hire the meanest motherfucking DOJ attorney general he can find. No Barr, no Bill Barr.
Everybody that's trying to put him away is corrupt. You see, in Georgia, the district attorney hired a prosecutor that was her lover.
Right.
And then paid him money, and he charged the government on stuff. I mean, it's everybody that's trying to put him away goes down.
So Gavi made the prediction way back at the beginning of the show, and I said, you're out of your mind crazy. He said that Donald Trump's going to beat every case, all the charges, and it looks like it's lining up that way.
He's going to win every single one.
He's going to win every single one. But the thing I don't understand, I understand he's raising money for his legal campaign. He can. He spent $20-30 million so far. Today I watched Hunter Biden at the congressional hearing. He had his lawyer, Abby Lowe, who probably gets $5,000
and his buddy that paid, by the way, bought all his artwork. As it turned out, he was the guy that bought most of the artwork.
So it gets at least $5,000 an hour. Who is paying Hunter Biden's lawyer? I want to know that. How can this guy afford this lawyer? It's a crazy story. I mean,
billions are being because it's a lot of money.
But that's another story for corruption.
It is. And then, by the way, he came and then left. Everything he is like just thumbing his nose up at the system. But
I know. But it's great. It's great storyline.
Well, they're going to keep it going.
Yeah, it's great.
Here's the question, and I would ask everybody that's Democrat, Republican. Do you think that the American people are entitled to see a debate? If it is Trump, if he does get the nod and it goes against Biden, is our country entitled to see the two of them have a debate, or should it be that the Democrats could say, we're not debating him? Are they scared to put him up there?
Of course they're scared because the guy can't walk on the stage, let alone stand there for an hour and a half.
So how do you look at the American people and say, we're not going to debate?
Because he will. It won't matter. He will. He will not debate. Unless there's some kind of law in election law that says he must debate.
So they're just going to going by the premise that, okay, anybody but Trump. They're hoping that, okay, this is what we're doing. We're going to put up a guy that has 12 million people that come in. We could have a Secretary of Defense that goes missing. Afghanistan's blown. We're at wars over here. He talks out of both sides of his mouth to Israel. He tells him his friend, then he goes against him. This is the guy that won't debate, doesn't take questions, doesn't have press conferences. We're going to put him in office because anybody but Trump.
Look what they just did with the Secretary of Defense. I think he says, I'm not debating. That's it. End of the subject. He's not debating. Not going to debate. And that's going to be the end of that. And, you vote for me if you want to vote for me. If you don't, you don't. But I'm not debating. I don't think he debates. He loses if he debates.
Who do you think Trump picks as his vice president?
You, Gavi. I think you would be the best candidate. You're a problem solver. What do you think, Ben?
I would be good. I would answer.
I think it's check the box. You're a Jewish guy. You're a Jewish guy with gray hair.
You know what? I would be out there more than Kamala.
No, you can check the box. You're a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
No, look, he picked Kamala to win the election, and that was her whole job. She showed up, she won, and then, go enjoy the Naval Observatory for the next 4 years, and I'll see you next time.
Where is she? Where is she doing this whole? I mean, how many more conflicts can it be? The only thing that she was a put in charge of was the border.
Well, I mean, she's doing exactly what she's being told to do. She's going sitting in a corner in the Naval Observatory with her staff. I saw her motorcade the other day on TV. And I mean, there's like 35 cars and ambulances and everything in this motorcade. And I'm going, oh my God, this is unbelievable for this woman that literally does nothing. But, you know, it's checked the box.
But you know what, though? After 3 years, if someone said to her, okay, you said that you were going to get to the root cause of the people coming here. If she told you that the root cause is climate change, what would you say?
I mean,
That's what Mayorkas said.
Yeah.
The climate change.
I mean, it's just they say whatever they want to say, and then they have these people that just back whatever they say. It doesn't even matter. I mean, you try and have an intelligent conversation with somebody that's a Joe Biden, you know, surrogate, and, you know, you watch...
How do you feel about the Governor Newsom of California now is giving free health care to illegal immigrants, and that includes sex change operations?
I don't think anybody can defend that. I mean, they just can't, but they will. You know, it's not a defendable
Is that what
subject.
our country? If they want our country to be like California, should the United States like follow California?
I think it only when it starts to affect people where people that are here legally can't get in and get health care, then they're affected. It's like my son. Now that he's paying New York state taxes and city taxes, he has a different view on sanctuary cities and New York City and giving money away. So I think until it affects you, it really, you know, you don't change your opinion. I just really believe that's the way it goes. But
Not your daughter. Not
Yeah.
your daughter.
She's coming around. She'll come around. Gavi, what a show. We had such a great show. This was our longest show ever. I mean, we're clicking down to like our tape runs out in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Anyway, we're on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Apple. Our reels are blowing up. We're over 250,000 listeners. We had Andy Green.
And what's that thing? They get a discount.
Oh, Rabbit20 on therabbitcompany.com. You get a 20% discount. I'm going to go on it right after
Aren't you
the show.
buying a rose?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to buy a rose today.
You know, when they come out and
Yeah, no,
you know
we're
that
gonna
there's
get
that
a-
TV show
yeah.
what is that TV show where you get the rose?
Yeah, we're going to get the rose.
Could you imagine if that show,
Anna
The
White.
Bachelor?
Oh, The Bachelor.
Could
The
you
Bachelor,
imagine
yeah.
if The Bachelor gave out their rose?
The rose.
And they said,
I
"Here you
like
go."
it's air infused. I mean, he has the air infusion now.
One of those women would say, "What did he give me?"
Rechargeable air infusion.
Could you imagine if they gave that out rather than a real rose? Jeez.
Anyway, folks, thanks for listening. Great show.
Yep. See ya.
Take care.
'Cause I'm only